Hello and welcome to Yoga to Get Your Morning Started. I'm Sasha with I Do Yoga. So today let's get started in a nice easy pose, just something comfortable. And then sitting with a nice tall spine, relaxing your hands down onto your knees if that feels good, or in your lap. And let's just close our eyes and let's just take a moment to center ourselves before we start our practice today. So no matter what your morning has been like, let's just start to come back to our breath in the present moment. So taking some slow and controlled inhales in through your nose and then releasing out through your nose. Just start to regulate that breath. So maybe you've had a nice slow morning where you've done some of your rituals, and maybe this is one of your rituals. So no matter what your day has been like, whether you're stopping in the middle of a hectic morning or beginning at the start of your day, just some nice slow breaths in and out through your nose. Anytime through this short practice this morning, if you feel like your mind is wandering, just remember that you can bring it back to the breath. That's always an anchor that we have. Keeping those eyes closed, if it feels okay, just start to lean forward and then make big circles with your torso. So going in a clockwise motion first. Just start rotating those shoulders in big circles. Breathing as you come forward, exhaling as you round that back and come back. Just awakening our spine this morning and signaling to our body, it's time to get up. We got stuff to do today. But for the next 20 minutes or so, we just have this time to ourselves on our mat. And then once you get to the front, let's take that the opposite direction at your own pace, going counterclockwise or the opposite direction that you just went. Nice big circles. And then taking one more big circle around. Come to the front. And then make that spine nice and tall, coming back to that neutral position. From here, still keeping those hands on your knees. Let's inhale to scoop our chest up to the sky, finding a little bend in the back. And then exhale, let's scoop it back toward the back space, curving the spine next to your chest. Inhale, pulling that chest up and out. And then exhale, melting it all down, curving it back toward the back space. So at your own pace, just take some inhales and exhales in the seated cat and cow flow. As always, feel free to close those eyes if it feels good. Taking one more inhale here. And one last exhale. And coming back to center. From here, let's take our right hand over to the right side of your space. Inhale that left arm up to the sky. And then exhale to creep those right fingertips along the floor, finding a nice stretch in the left side of your body. Remembering that breath in and out through your nose. One last inhale here. And then exhale to come up. Left fingertips to the floor, right hand comes up to the sky on an inhale. And exhale to slowly take those fingertips to the left, like you're scraping them along the ceiling so you find that nice extension. One more inhale here. Exhale, slowly coming back to center. And from here, let's go ahead and get on to our knees and hands coming up to a tabletop position. Once you get here, just wiggle those hips to the left and the right, waking up our hip joint. And then before we start a nice slow flow, let's just take our hips to the left and start making a big C shape, sitting back toward child's pose and then coming up to the other side, leaning to the right. So just like you're making a big U shape. Don't know why I said C shape. I meant U. Need to brush up on my alphabet. So just breathing at your own pace, just waking up that hip joint, kind of doing this little hip dance here. Making the movements as big as you want, making the movement as fast as you want, or as slow, your choice, your practice. And just make one more big U shape, down and back. And then let's just come up to that nice, stable table. From here, let's tuck our toes under. And then let's go into some cat and cows here. So with our belly scooping down to the ground and chin rising to the sky on an inhale. And then exhale, emptying all the air out and curving that spine up toward the sky. Inhale, sweeping your belly down, chin up. And exhale, letting all the air out. At your own pace. Keeping those toes tucked. One more time inhaling. Last time on the exhale. And then with those toes tucked, coming back to neutral, let's pull our hips up to the sky, finding a downward facing dog. So your fingertips will be spread wide like starfish. Feet, your knees can be bent. You don't have to have your feet touch the ground. Just feeling free to do whatever feels good for those hamstrings today. Just take a few moments to feel these first few moments of this downward facing dog. It always feels different. The more you do yoga, the more different it will feel as we come back to this position. So just take some moments to enjoy this opening downward facing dog. Taking one last inhale here. Letting it go, exhale out through your mouth. Now on an inhale, let's take our right toes to the sky. Inhaling, right leg up to the sky. And then exhale, knee to nose, pulling that knee in towards center, shifting forward onto those hands. Inhale back. And then this time, exhale to bring that knee, the foot all the way forward, placing the foot flat on the ground. And then let's inhale to come up to crescent. So hands will reach up to the sky. And then if you need to also have a bend in that left knee, feel free to do that. If you need a nice, easy bend in that leg, or feel free to ignite that fire and lengthen it nice and long. Reaching those arms up, making those shoulders soft, bending that right knee so that it's at a 90-degree angle, and making sure our knee is tracking right straight over that foot. So not out to the right and not in. Just a little strength this morning just to wake us up. Inhale one more time here. Exhale, hands to the ground. And then let's release our right leg back to come to a downward facing dog. Finding our downward facing dog once more. Making sure we're pushing up out of the ground so our shoulders aren't sagging down, but we're activating those shoulders. Inhaling the left foot up to the sky. And exhale, knee to nose, coming forward onto the front of those hands, so we're shifting forward. Inhale, left leg back to the sky. Exhale, your left leg comes all the way to the front, that foot flat. Inhale to come up to crescent pose. Hands up to the sky, shoulders soft. Just take a few breaths here. Wake up those legs this morning. Maybe there's a smile on your face. One more inhale here, reaching up out of your rib cage. Exhale, hands to the ground, stepping your left foot back to downward facing dog. Taking an inhale here. Let's exhale and walk our feet up to the front of your mat. I have a little obstacle here today. Once you get to the front, let's have our feet be hip width apart. So that means you could fit 2 fists in between your feet. And then once you're there, inhale to come halfway up. So hands to shins or the floor. Inhale halfway up. Exhale to come all the way down. Then let's inhale and rise all the way to standing. Hands sweep high to the sky. And exhale, bringing those hands down through center. And from here, we're going to inhale, hands up to the sky. And exhale, falling forward over those legs. Head hangs free. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, rise all the way up to the sky. And hands down through heart center. Let's go through that 3 more times. Just half sun salutations. Inhale, hands up to the sky. And exhale, hands down through center or swan dive. Inhale to come halfway up, just nice and slow. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, hands sweep up to the sky. And hands back through center. Again, inhale, sweeping your hands up to the sky. Maybe a little back bend if it feels good. Exhale to fold forward. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, letting it all go. Inhale, rise nice and tall. And exhale. One more time, inhale, reaching high to the sky. Exhale, falling forward. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, folding forward. And inhale to come nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. closing your eyes if that feels good. Let's just pause here, finding a nice, stable mountain pose with our hands at our heart. And what I'd like you to do now is just take a moment to set the intention for your morning. I like to do a gratitude journal, so that's always something that's good to do along with this practice. But for right now, just set an intention for your morning or even for your day. All right, now let that thought go. And on an inhale, let's open our eyes, drop our hands down to the side, sweep our hands up to the sky. And exhale, falling forward like a waterfall, down to the ground. Inhale to come halfway up. Exhale, hands to the ground, stepping back. And then let's drop our knee down to the ground. Thank you, buddy. And then releasing the top of your right foot. Your left knee is directly over your left ankle. Let's come up, hands onto our thigh. Just find a nice tall spine, a nice stretch in that right front hip. And if you want to join me, you can inhale to reach your hands up toward the sky. Exhale there. And if you want even more, you could inhale for a little back bend. Pulling up out of the front part of your body. Exhale, hands to the ground. From here, let's take our right foot, bring it in, grabbing it with the left hand and then pulling that in toward the midline. Just finding a nice stretch and opening that left side of the chest to the left side of the space. Take one more inhale here, exhaling that down. And then let's take our left leg and make it and pull it back so we're in half splits. Kind of doing half of everything today, half sun salutations, half splits. We want to warm up nice and slow for our day. And then releasing that left foot down to the ground. Let's place our hands down along our side. And then let's take our left foot to the back side of the space so that we find a nice plank. From here, let's come down through our vinyasa. So let's pull ourselves down through chaturanga slowly with control. We don't have many of these today. Inhale to come up to a little cobra here. Exhale to downward facing dog. So pushing yourself up and then back to downward facing dog. From here, let's inhale our left leg up to the sky. Exhale that foot to the front of the mat. And then once we get here, let's take our right toes, just drop them so that they're flat. And then let's start to lengthen that left leg. So we come into a nice triangle pose. So your left hand to your left ankle, right arm will sweep up to the sky. Just finding that nice space in the right side of your body. One more inhale here. Exhale, right hand to the ground, left hand to the ground. Let's come back to downward facing dog. So bringing that left leg back. Inhaling here. Exhale, let it go. On the next inhale, bring that right foot to high to the sky. Exhale, right knee to the nose and bring it to the front of the mat. And once you get here, drop that left knee down and then flatten the left foot. Coming up into a lunge on the other side. So finding a nice Kneeling crescent. Hands can be on your right leg, finding a nice stretch in that left hip. If you'd like, inhale, reach those hands up to the sky. Exhale any tension in those shoulders. And if you want even more, you can inhale and start to come back into a little back bend, reaching out of that spine. Exhale, bringing those hands down to the ground. Bending the left knee. Grabbing it with the right hand. You can always use a strap too if you can't quite reach. And then pulling that in. And then opening up to the right side of the space. Last inhale here. Exhale, releasing those left toes down to the ground. And then pulling back so we're extending that right leg nice and long. Hands to the ground. Finding your version of half splits. Right toes to the sky. Remembering that breath. Let's come up to that low lunge once more. Hands to the ground. Pop up onto those left toes. And then send that right foot back to the back of your mat. Finding plank once more. One of the few we'll do today. Lower exhale, chaturanga. Inhale through cobra. My form is suffering a little bit because I have a little buddy on my mat. Down to downward facing dog. From here, inhaling our right foot to the sky. Exhale those right toes to the front. Taking that left foot flat to the back of your mat. So left foot is flat and perpendicular. And then releasing the bend in that right knee. Right hand on top of right ankle. And then lifting your left hand up to the sky, finding triangle on the other side. More inhale here. Exhale, left hand down to the ground. Right hand down to the ground. Pivoting back into that lunge. Let's step back into downward facing dog. Last downward facing dog of the class. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, let it all go. Releasing your knees down onto your mat. And then from here, let's take our left leg up and around the right knee. I'll face the camera for this one. So we're going to take our left leg, tuck it up and around our right leg, and we're going to snuggle those in and then have a seat into cow face. And then grabbing the outer edges of those feet and elongating that spine, inhaling. And then exhale to just fall to your degree of comfort over the top of your left leg. One last inhale here. Exhale to come up slowly out of that. And we're gonna take and do a little 360-degree turn so we can just come right into the other side. And if you lose me at any point during this transition, just come back to tabletop and snuggle your right over your left. So I'm gonna go to the right side, hands to the right, coming up onto those feet, and then turning my body toward the back, and then circling over to the right leg, and then turning my legs around once more, and then having a seat. So now your right should be on top of your left. And then if you lost us again, feel free to go to tabletop, snuggle your right over your left leg. And then once you get there, inhale for that nice long spine. Exhale to just release those back muscles. One more inhale here. And then exhale to slowly make your way up. And we're just gonna unravel our legs this time. So just unravel to come out of that. Bringing yourself onto your back. And then once you get on your back, let's just bring those knees in toward the center. Squeezing those knees in, bringing your chest off the ground. Just give everything a squeeze and engage every muscle in your whole body. Just squeeze it so tight. Take one last inhale there. And then just let everything release and fall down to the ground for your Savasana. So legs will be open, toes will point out. Hands can be facing up for receiving. Or if you feel like you need grounding today, face your hands down to the ground. Just take some moments to fall into the last quiet minutes of our class today before you jump back into your day. Allow yourself this precious time. Ready to come out of Savasana, go ahead and start to wiggle those fingers and toes. And if you're not, go ahead and feel free to just stay here as long as you like. But if you're ready to return to the rest of your day, let's roll over slowly to the right side. And then just push yourself up. Back into that seated position we started our class in today. So finding a nice, easy pose. And then once you're here, let's just take our hands and place them back at heart center. And then with your eyes closed, if that feels good, let's just recall your intention for your day or for your morning. One last inhale here. Exhale, let it go. And then slowly open those eyes. Thank you for your practice. I hope you have a great morning.